Hello again, and here we are with the second half of terms from Unit 11. So we will pick up where we left off, and we have the term knight-errant, just like Don Quixote is. A knight-errant is a medieval knight who wanders from place to place, searching for adventures, right? A medieval, let me put in the word wandering, because that's what errant means, knight, as he goes around hoping to right all wrongs. We've had this word probably once or twice before. To loathe is to feel intense dislike for something. To abhor. To feel disgust. To hate. A morion is a kind of helmet without a visor. It was typically worn by knights who rode the land in the 16th and 17th century. So it didn't really have that sort of, ledge on it. It was worn by soldiers and knights. And you know how much difficulty Quixote has putting together his helmet, right? Obduracy, I'm going to make this into an adjective. So when you're obdurate, you are stubborn, okay? Stubbornly refusing to do something. Stubbornly refusing to change your mind or your stance on something. Your course of action. Obdurate. You'll see many times Quixote is obdurate. He is stubborn. He will insist that he sees giants before him and not windmills. Obliquely, an oblique line is slanted. So if you've made a comment obliquely, you've made it indirectly. Okay, so you're being a little bit to the side. You're not being blatant, slant-wise. That's where the word comes from. Anything odious is hateful, repulsive, horrific, extremely unpleasant. And earlier we had the word eclogue, which was a short pastoral poem. We should probably know what pastoral means. This is anything associated with rural life, associated with country life, with shepherding, the simple life. We could also use it in Christian terms, because if someone's giving you pastoral advice, they're giving spiritual guidance, like a shepherd to his sheep. But going back to the first definition, think to an elegy written in a country churchyard by Thomas Gray last year. That's a very pastoral setting. A pate is a person's head. So if you're going to knock somebody on his pate, you're knocking them on their head. A prodigious amount of something is a great amount. So anything that is great in size, extent, or degree is prodigious. You might be a prodigious reader, for example. A remedy, if we talk about it in terms of a singular word, a remedy is by a noun, a treatment. And if you're looking at it in terms of a verb, to remedy something is to set it right. Right? So either way, it's a solution. Again, a word that keeps reappearing. This is the condition of being well known, of being famous. If you're searching for renown, you're searching for the opportunity that your name will live on for history. you know. A sage as a noun is a wise person. It can also be considered a plant, you know, if you talk about sage as one of the herbs. But I think most often we're going to be talking about it in terms of a sage. You know, Tiresias was believed to be a sage. If we're going to use it as an adjective and say that someone is sagacious, for example, it means that they are showing wisdom. What sage advice he gave us. To sally is to set out, to travel, to sally forth. If you want to use it as a noun and you want to say a sally is a charge, you know, from a besieged place. So you can say you're going to sally from, they went on a sally from the castle, which was being besieged, towards the destiny or the place of the attack against the enemy. But I think in our references here, it's probably going to be a verb, which means to set out, to sally forth, because that's what Quixote does. He sallies forth. Anybody who's scrupulous is diligent, attentive to details, scrupulous, fastidious, thorough. There's another good one. Meticulous. All of those would work. That's an adjective. A very archaic word, smote, comes from smite. To smote someone is to strike them, to hit them. Roland smote the Saracen with the Oliphant at one point. You can see the word sonar in here, so definitely think sound. When something is sonorous, it has a deep and full sound. It's very pleasant. When you hear sonorous, a sonorous musical voice. To traverse is to travel across, to traverse the countryside, to travel across the countryside, or maybe through it, to traverse the forest. We see the word valor here, so anything that's valorous is showing great courage and honor. To verify, okay, we can make that was the past tense of the verb verify. To verify something is to make sure, right? To confirm. To confirm something is true or valid. I want to verify the information. Okay, and then we just have a couple more. As you know, in the play Macbeth, he is subject to certain vexations. It's the state of being annoyed, the state of being confused, frustrated, worried. Mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses, he says when he sees the dagger before him. A visage is a person's face or their facial expression. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it, she tells her husband. Lady Macbeth does. So keep your visage welcoming, but yet underneath it, we know that what we're planning to do. Obviously, to wag is to move. We talk about a dog wagging its tail. But in Quixote, we're talking about a wag being a joker, a person who's comedic. Okay, and I know that was a long list, but breaking it in two hopefully helped. And that is the end of Unit 11.